Vibers, welcome to Earth Goddess Messages about your career or calling. A very special joint tarot reading, which is a collaboration with Other Side Tarot, where Cheryl will be talking with you about messages from the element of water about your love life. If you happen to be new here, my name is Shon, and I am so glad you are joining us. We have a lot to cover today. I'm going to give you a quick preview of what's going to be covered in each of your readings. We have 3 piles for you to choose from. We're going to pick your selectors in just a second. But before we do that, let me tell you what's up. So we are going to be looking at, as I said earlier, your career or calling. Now, for some of you, your career might be your calling. You may have known what you wanted to do all of your life and turned it into a way to make money. For some of you, you may see these as 2 completely different things. Either way, there are messages coming through to you today from goddesses associated with the element of earth. Those are the messages we're receiving today because our calling, while it is spiritual in nature, we implement it here on the earth. And our career, which is connected to our finances, our stability, our home, also is connected to the element of earth. It's the material world. It's the material world. That was my favorite. No, wait, it was called Material Girl. I was thinking about the Madonna song for just a second, and that was like one of my favorite songs of the 80s, right there with I Want to Dance with Somebody Who Loves Me by Whitney Houston, who happens to be my favorite singer of all time. But back to you. Let's talk about what we're going to cover in your reading today. So we're going to look at what area your ideal career or actual calling is in. I'll expound more on that when we get into each of your individual piles. We're also going to take a look at what your higher self wants you to feel or experience in your career or calling. Again, more details to come. We're going to take a look at what shadow work you might need to do or what blockages you may have that are keeping you from really fully committing to, maybe even starting or going as far as you can in your career or calling. We're going to look at what energy you're being called to bring into your career right now or your calling right now. Because at different times in our lives, in different stages of our career or our vocation, there are different energies needed. What's required of us changes over time or during specific times, right? We're going to take a look at we're going to use the tarot. So all of those things that we mentioned, that I just mentioned, me and the other people who aren't sitting here with me right now. I don't know where that we came from. It's the royal we. I'm Shon. Anyway, those of you who are new here are like, what is she doing? Y'all, I'm being crazy. Okay, so the first few questions that I just mentioned, or the first few aspects of this message that I just mentioned, are going to be delivered to you through oracle messages, okay, oracle cards. Then we're going to consult the tarot to get more specificity and more clarity about your specific calling or your specific job. So it's not one of those things where I'm super vague. I don't tend to do vague readings anyway. You're going to be told exactly what it is you should be doing. So that is something to look forward to, right? And then finally, we're going to wrap all of that up with additional messages from another goddess, who might want to pop through. So let me say that better. We're going to look at whether or not another goddess has specific messages for you around the main message, which is coming through to you from the goddess you're about to pick right now. So we're going to start by leading you into your readings by pulling 3 cards from this deck. It's the African Goddess Rising Oracle by Abiola Abrams. And I've only included here the goddesses that are associated with the element of earth. So for pile 1, you guys got Queen Ya Asantewaa. And I never know if I'm saying their names perfectly, but I do my best, okay? For pile 2, you guys are going to be led into your reading with Gangang Sera. And for pile 3, you guys are going to be led into your reading with Mawulisa. Now, as you can see here, each of these cards has a number association. So if you don't feel comfortable or if you're not ready to make your choice based on the goddess, you can use the number as your selector. We've got 39 for pile 1, 22 for pile 2, and 2 for pile 3. Each of the cards also has a keyword. So for those of you who are drawn into your readings, when you see a keyword on the cards being used, for pile 1, you have level up. For pile 2, you have resistance. And for pile 3, you have cosmic power. And then finally, as I do know that so many of you do enjoy choosing with crystals, I am adding crystals to our assortment here. So we have first the ocean jasper. The hematite is for pile 2. And smoky quartz is for pile 3. These are all grounding stones, and that's why I picked them, because these are stones that are, they're very much connected to the earth. And all crystals are, but these are oftentimes used for grounding. So let me show you even closer, actually. This is your ocean jasper. And if I'm not mistaken, all jasper is actually associated with grounding or helps with healing your energy when you need grounding. Then we have the hematite here. And finally, one of my favorite crystals, the smoky quartz. And it's so, this one is actually kind of small, but it is the only one I have, so it's a little bit harder to see than the other two stones. Okay, you guys, take a second, take a look. I'm going to be quiet for the next few moments while actually, you know what? It makes more sense for me to put them. I'm just going to be patient with me, guys, while I make a slight adjustment so you can see them better. Because they are so dark, let's put them on the lighter part of the cloth. There we go. And now you can see them even better. I'm going to be silent for the next few minutes, moments. Take a second, take a look, and see which of these 3 piles is calling to you. And I will see you in your reading. Hi, Group 1. Welcome to your reading and to this very special collaboration with Other Side Tarot. Over here on my side of YouTube, we are going to... my side of YouTube, that sounds so silly. Anyway, over here on my side of the tarot table, yes, my side of the table, we are going to be receiving messages from Queen Ya Asantewaa about your career or calling. And we're going to use several decks to get these messages today. These are more decks. You guys, if you are usually here on my channel, I don't typically use this many decks in one reading, but we are doing it today. And as soon as we finish with your reading over here, you're going to want to head over to Other Side Tarot and receive your messages from Cheryl that are actually messages from the element of water about your love life. So because we have a lot to cover, let's just jump right in. Now, the first question that we're going to answer, and we're going to use the astrology reading cards for that, is what area your career, your ideal career or actual calling is in. Because sometimes we find ourselves doing things that were other people's ideas or working in a field that doesn't quite feel right. So let's find out from Queen Ya Asantewaa using these cards what your ideal area is. Oh, there we go. Did y'all see how that flipped? It was so beautiful. So you guys got the 8th house. The 8th house, what a pretty card. And then we're going to also find out using the higher self oracle what your higher self hopes you gain or feel from your career or calling. A lot of times, particularly when we're talking about calling, we tend to think that it has to just be about other people, or when we're talking about the career, we think just in terms of money or feeling status. But there's a feeling that will resonate or align for you. Align is a better word. If you are in the ideal field for you. So we're going to find out what that, there we go, is. Ooh, fear. Interesting. Ooh, I just got a hit on that. Like, don't let that freak you out, guys. This is actually a really good thing. I know, Yeah, I have a sense of what that's really all about. So it's not a bad thing. Typically, we think of fear as a bad word, but it is not a bad thing. So hang in there while we get the rest of your messages, okay? Now we're going to look at what shadow work or blockages, shadow work you might need to do, or what blockages you might have around your calling or career. So for this, we're using the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle, and this guy wants to come out. It says garden. Something lovely will grow through from this. So again, I don't want to give you your full message yet until we get all of the cards, but just right away, these two together, this confirms what I felt we were getting with this. So definitely stick around for this, because I feel like it's going to bring you a lot of joy. A lot of joy. All right, so now we're looking at we're going to use the Moonology deck, the Moonology deck to find out what energy you're being called to bring into the endeavor right now at different times within our anything we're trying to do, different kinds, qualities, types, levels of energy are asked for. So what energy are you guys being asked to bring into, there we go, your career or calling right now? This is confidence is your key to success. I know that a lot of the people that watch my videos, particularly on YouTube, are readers yourselves. So I am sure you'll see what I see here. I would not be surprised if you weren't already starting to feel, actually, you know what? Those of you who do tarot, y'all probably already know what your career calling is. But anyway, you might be remembering what it felt like for you when you first started doing it. Next, we're using the This Might Hurt Tarot. Okay. So we're going to use this to get we're going to get like details and specifics. Actually, I'm going to put this one here. Details and specifics, there we go, about your career or calling. So we've got 5 of Swords in reverse. Can we get some details and a lot of specificity, please, for these guys about the career or calling? So we got 3 that came together. We're going to take them all together. We have the Knight of Wands. We have the Star in reverse. And we have the World in reverse. Move you for just a second. The 5 of Swords in reverse, the Knight of Wands in reverse with the Star and the World, both, sorry, the Knight of Wands is not in reverse. And then we just had fly out the 7 of Swords in reverse. You guys, I know what this is. Oh, I knew that you were coming. All right, and then the 7 of Pentacles. Finally, we are going to use the Goddesses Among Us deck to find out if there are additional goddesses that want to weigh in on your career or calling. So these are supplemental messages that are going to come along with what we get from Queen Ya Asantewaa, okay? And so the main message we got from her is here. And this is just some added information that you might need. There we go. Ooh, I don't even know how to say this. I'm assuming Shinu. I assume. And there's several key words on her card here. What a beautiful card, by the way. It's lavender and lilac. Star family, star seed, soulmates. Look at that. Okay, so we're going to start at the top and we're going to pull it all in together. Okay. Now with the 8th house card that we got here, when asking about what area your ideal career or your actual calling is in, this 8th house we're getting a sense here, the sense that I'm getting here is for you guys, I'm getting, and this is definitely not going to surprise any of the tarot readers who are here, I'm getting some sort of a counselor. You're supposed to work with people who are in situations where their home life is not good. So this might be working as a child advocate. It could be working with like in child what's it called, family law, or as a social worker, as a personal counselor, doing one-on-one counseling, or maybe even family counseling or couples counseling. But you are ideally suited to work in a field where you help people create more functional home lives. And for some of you, this is very specifically going to be around helping others heal from the hurt of their own family life from when they were children, their childhoods. And one of the things that's come up, because, we talked, one of the questions that we asked was what your higher self hopes for you to feel from this. And fear came up. And what this means is not they want you to live in fear, but that they want you to feel the things that cause you fear so that you can push through them, heal from them. And also I'm getting the fear that's actually, better categorized as excitement, because you're doing something new. You're breaking the mold. If you take this to heart and choose to go in this direction, you will be learning to function in ways that you weren't taught in the home that you grew up in. And whenever we do something new, particularly when it comes to how we handle life, it does produce fear in us. I know some of you have heard people talk about, particularly if you've ever done any kind of recovery program. I've heard people who do 12-step programs talk about this, that once life starts to get good, it gets scary. Or another way of thinking, and it's because they don't know what to expect. The thing that was dysfunctional or hurtful, the struggle, that was familiar. But having life be better, having new coping skills, learning how to function, that was scary, until they learned that they could handle that and that life was actually better as a result. Or sometimes, even if you're not connected to the recovery space at all, sometimes people just feel like they're afraid when good things happen because they're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And that's because there's something that has happened in their formative years, something that has happened in their upbringing, something that has happened in their life, maybe not even when they were children, that was just traumatic enough to make them feel so much fear of the unknown. But there are some fears. I'm not saying re-traumatize yourself. I am never advocating for that. But there are some things that we fear that we have to face that fear and move forward. We have to face that fear in order to move forward, to get where we're supposed to go, to be who we are supposed to be, to fulfill our potential, and in your case, to help others. Because as you face those fears, and what I'm also getting is, what the question was, what your higher self hopes that you feel from this work, and the answer is fear. It's that when you are doing this kind of work, when you are helping people who have had a similar struggle to yours, or a struggle adjacent to yours, or anything that might bring up something from your past, you can be triggered to feelings of fear. Because sometimes things will come up that you didn't even know were down in there. And now you've got another thing to heal on your own. So this is twofold, okay? This idea of facing the fears and getting through them, but also having the fear that comes from moving forward with your life, moving up in your life. And then we also got, gardens, something lovely will grow from this. And this was in direct answer to the question about shadow work that might need to be done, or blockages. And I remember I said these go together. So those would be the weeds, right? In your garden, these things, these old hurts would be the weeds in the garden. They have to be cut out. And the parts of your garden that you want to keep around have to be tended to so they can flourish and grow. So the shadow work that you would be called to do for yourself to be able to be effective or even let yourself move forward in your ideal career or actual calling would be not just to do the healing, but also to start to notice and really own the things about you that are good, the things about you that oh boy, I sounded really Southern right there for a second. But the things about you that are good, the things about you that are excellent, the things about you that allow you to be an example for others, whether you work directly with them or not. And also in see, some of you have come from an environment where you weren't allowed to see what's good about you. If anything good happened with you or to you, you were possibly shamed. You were possibly just ignored or neglected. And so you don't have the habit of noticing what's good about you, and you certainly don't have the habit of speaking on it, or have the habit of actually talking about it to others as an example of how they can improve themselves. You might feel, even with my saying this, you might feel very uncomfortable and even some fear around the idea of holding yourself up on a pedestal so that you can be an example to others, but you're very much being called to do that. You have got to garden that which is you, dealing with those weeds as well as the blossoms, the parts of you that are good. And the energy that you're being asked to bring to it is the confidence. And it's the confidence of the lion. It's the confidence of the Leo. Some of you who are receiving this reading today might be Leo, sun, moon, or rising. If you are, let me know. Actually, let me know what I would be interested to see, period. Let me know in the comments what astrological sign you most identify with. And I say that because, like, for me, my sun sign is Aquarius. My rising sign is Cancer. And my moon sign is Leo. Can y'all guess which one? Can you guess which one I most identify with? You know? In case you can't guess, it's the Leo. It's for sure my moon in Leo. So let me know, which of your astrological signs do you most identify with? And if you happen to have Leo in your chart at all, it doesn't even have to be in your top 3, in your chart at all, tell me about it in the comments and how you see that show up in your life. And you actually, really do let me know, you guys, because this is part of what you're being called to do here with your shadow work. Speak on the ways in which you shine. Leos shine. Leos take center stage. Leos let themselves be seen. Leos expect to be seen. They expect to be seen and appreciated. And you are being called to do that, to let yourself be seen. Don't have fear of criticism. To let yourself be appreciated. When the compliment comes, let it land, take it, own it, say thank you and keep it moving. Don't feel the need to pay a compliment back. There's plenty of time for you to compliment that other person. But on that moment when you're getting that compliment, let that be your moment. Don't feel the need to downplay. Oh, well, like somebody says to you, you've got a beautiful dress on. Oh, yeah, I got this for $10 at Target. I have been guilty of that myself. I mean, not $10 at Target. I don't know what the fuck they would have at Target for $10. But, but my point is, sometimes I'll get a compliment on something and it's completely subconscious. That I'm wearing, something I'm wearing, it's completely subconscious for me to let them know what a deal I got for that thing. What? Why? What is that? So the thing about you that allows you to shine, or should allow you to shine if you let it, tell me what that is in the comments. Let me know. There's somebody who watches my content. I'm not going to call her by name because she has expressed that she is a little bit shy about talking about her art, but I'm going to talk about her art, okay? It's really, really, really good. And the reason why I'm bringing it up right now, well, one, she might not have even picked this pile, so she might not even hear me, but I'm bringing that up right now because she is a great example of someone who needs to let her Leo flag fly, whether she actually has Leo in her chart or not. So you guys get used to saying the good things about you because other people need to hear it, okay? So the tarot cards that make it clear to me that for you guys, it is definitely about, doing counseling work with people. A couple here. We've got Five of Swords in reverse, which speaks to the ending of conflict. We've got the Knight of Wands, which speaks to taking action, and in particular, taking inspired action. We've got the Star in reverse, and we've got the World in reverse. And both of those are saying to me, with the Star in reverse, we definitely have, that you would be working with people who feel there is no hope. Their hope is blocked, right? These are people who need you to help them heal. Now, healing doesn't have to be those things that I said. I spoke specifically about some of the traditional jobs that come along with being a healer, but you might be an energy worker. You might be, like I said earlier, a tarot reader, and the kinds of readings that you choose to do help people heal. But you are definitely here on this earth as a healer. And y'all know there's another card we have that we haven't even talked about yet that indicates that as well, but we'll get there in a second. The World in reverse is about it not being complete, unfinished business. See, unfinished business is one of the things that we tend to need to deal with when we are working as counselors or working with a counselor to facilitate our own healing. And then you have the Seven of Swords, and it's about, and it's in reverse as well, and that's about not letting the mind trick you anymore. Because when you come, and I'm saying you as in your clients, this would be your message for them. What you bring to their life is a way in which they can live that stops them from being led astray by a diseased mind, an injured mind, a triggered body, a hurt body. Because, the body, there's this great book that, let me rephrase, I haven't read it yet, but I've heard a lot of people talk about it, and I just started reading it, so I haven't read the whole thing, called The Body Keeps the Score. But I already, I believe it anyway, even without having read the whole book. I believe that because trauma, and this is commonly known, trauma is stored in the body. And so the body can, for instance, you go into a new environment and your body has this memory, muscle memory. I know y'all have heard that phrase, particularly any of you who dance. Y'all know, dancers, y'all know what muscle memory is. Any kind of performer knows what muscle memory is. But even if you don't perform, watch yourself the next time you're cooking. You are doing a lot based on muscle memory right there in your kitchen, right? But yeah, so you go into a new environment, and because you've got this very painful memory from your past of having maybe been the new kid at school. Maybe you were the new kid at school a lot. Like me, I was the new kid at school so many times because my family moved around a lot. And y'all, I was awkward. Oh, Lord. I was such an awkward little girl. Not just the sensitivity that comes with being an artist, or highly intuitive, psychic in nature, not just those things, but I was like a little know-it-all smarty pants kind, and I had the big glasses, and my mom used to dress me up weird because she had dreams. We'll just leave it at that. She had dreams, and so she put those dreams on me, and my clothes weren't, listen, I wasn't a fashion model. I was 8. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so I was the new kid often. And I was picked on a lot because of these things that I just shared with you. Plus, I was dark skinned before it was in. There was no such thing as Benetton when I was little. Benetton is what taught us to appreciate different skin tones, particularly different skin tones on, I'm supposed to say African American, but I'm raised in the 80s, so I say black people. And I was super, super skinny. And I spoke very, very, very precisely, as I still do today. And so I was picked on a lot. And so I developed the habit of not being comfortable in new environments. And that got in my body until I did healing around it and changed it. So I use that as an example for you that you to relate to if you have a similar history of having been in a situation where you were new and then you start a brand new job. And immediately, even if you've done all the mindset stuff to help you feel confident walking in, but your body's got that memory of what it feels like to be new, which might include feeling invisible or feeling awkward, not quite knowing where to go, where to stand. That puts the feeling of being lost in your body, right? And that can be triggering. So this Seven of Swords in reverse speaks specifically to, I feel, the helping people get to a point where they're not being lied to by their mind anymore, their body mind anymore, which is keeping them back, keeping them down, keeping them hurt, possibly keeping them alone, keeping them from advancing in their own careers, things like that. So the reversal of that by dealing with this unfinished business and dealing with the blockage of the hope. And then the final tarot card that you guys got in our tarot pull around this is the Seven of Pentacles. And the Seven of Pentacles is about assessing one's efforts. And, here we talked about the inspired action that comes with the Knight of Wands. So your clients or customers, whoever they are, the people that you work with, the people that you work for, the people that you're called to help, that you're here to work with, whether it's directly healing work or not, inspired action brought them to you. And so you will be helping them assess their progress as they go through their healing journey with you. You will begin the process by helping them assess where they are now and what is working for them in their life versus what is not. And I want to remind you to not just focus on that which is not working, but also that which is working, because that's what will keep them inspired. It will give them a sense of hope so that they have something to work towards. And it's just like what we talked about here for yourself, focusing on what's good about you as well as what needs taken care of. Same for your clients or customers or whoever you are here to serve. And then finally, I don't know why I sang that, but so here we have starseed, we have star family, we have soulmates. Now, I will admittedly say I don't know a whole lot about what it means to be a starseed, but I do know that a lot of people in the tarot space talk about it. I feel like Keynote Tarot talks about it a lot. And I haven't explored it much for myself because, well, one, I am really busy and I have a lot of stuff going on, but also it just didn't immediately feel like alignment for me, but it appears that it's alignment for you. Okay. And listen, I might be wrong. If you think from what you've experienced of me so far in the videos that you have watched of mine, if you feel like I might be a starseed, let me know. I'd be really interested to hear. And also let me know like why you think that. Like what is it you see or hear from me that makes you think, yeah, Shon, you're definitely a starseed. But listen, whether I'm starseed or not, you are, okay? And this focus on soulmates and star family. So there's a couple of things that I'm picking up from this for you guys. And let's focus on the part where it's you as the star seed. There is a healing nature to star seeds, if I'm not mistaken, based on what I have picked up from hearing others talk about it. There's a healing nature to them. They are light workers, if I'm not mistaken. And definitely energy workers, energy healers. Again, if I'm getting any of this wrong, let me know in the comments. But this is what's coming up as I'm doing your reading right now. So... But also what I'm getting is that a lot of your client base, yes, and they're empathic by nature and sensitive. And this is what makes you uniquely suited for this kind of work, which will make you very, very good at this kind of work. But what it also means is that the clients that you get, what this card also means is the clients, the customers, the people that you're called to serve, however you serve them, they too will be people who are probably on the starseed spectrum in some way, some level of starseed, because I'm sure there's more than one way to be one, yes? And they are in need of healing. Many of them have not found their soul family, their soul mates, the people that they feel aligned with, the people that they feel connected to. I have some people that are in my life, and they're all relatively new to my life, given that I'm 500 years old. And they feel like my people, man. You know, like my family, I'm very different than my family. And I'm sure a lot of you guys feel similarly, identify with that, right? And then, I make friends, but there are people that don't necessarily feel like, they're my people or I'm their people or whatever. And don't get me started on work environments, which is why I work on my own now. But there are people that I have met of late that I don't have to explain what I'm saying to them. I don't have to explain what I mean to them because they get it, because they're on that same wavelength. They have the same interests as I do. So they've read a lot of the same things. So the point of reference when we're having conversations is the same. Or they just process life similarly. Or they feel, even if they don't process life, because I'm not just sitting around like looking for Shon clones, though I do think it would be kind of cool to have a clone. I guess it would be cool. I don't know, because a clone is kind of like an alien, so maybe they would. I don't know about a clone. But when I was a kid, I used to think it would be cool to have a twin, right? I was obsessed with the original Parent Trap with Haley Mills. But anyway, I'm not looking for people to be just like me, but I am very, very grateful for the people that I have been connecting with of late who, without reason or effort, are just comfortable to be with and to talk to. And this, I believe, is our soul family. These, I believe, are our soul mates. A lot of times people want to reserve the term soulmate just for romantic partners. I feel that might be a mistake. I feel that, if we take mate at its grandest term, meaning friend, we have a ton of soulmates, right? Your clients or customers or whoever it is that you feel called to serve, that you are here to work with in your career or calling, they are people in need of that. And you're going to be the gateway for them in finding that. You're going to be the portal. You're going to be the one that opens the door by expanding their thinking, by helping them to feel comfortable in their own bodies. And that will make it easier for them to find people as they go through life, or to just see and notice people without even having to actively look. People as they go through life that are aligned with them, that are comfortable in their bodies. Because they're comfortable in their bodies, they will meet people who are also comfortable with them. And those people are comfortable in their own bodies. And there will be this connection. And I'm not saying this is about I love my body because of this. No, it's not about the body. It's about just knowing you have a right to be in the space. Knowing that you have a right to exist. Knowing that you are part of this universe. That's what I mean when I say comfortable in your body. It's got shit to do with what you look like in a bikini. Okay? So yeah, this is the message that I have for you guys. I meant for this to be 10 minutes. It's been 30. And I know some of y'all are laughing at me like, yeah, right, Shon. You could do 10 minutes. I can. All the cat wisdom things were 10 minutes or less, except for 29, which was almost 12. But anyway, you guys, this is a very, very, very big message, and I don't want to forget. And again, this is Shinu, I assume I am saying that right, who is adding to the conversation that was started by Queen Ya Asanteway. And let's not forget, her keyword and her message to you with all of this is level up. Let yourself be elevated by elevating yourself. See yourself as the jewel that you are, for it is the only way that you can be the treasure you are meant to be to other people. Queen Ya Asanteway fought the battle of the golden stool. This is a golden stool in front of her. And I can't remember all of the details of that battle right off the top of my head. But see, look at her clothes. This wasn't yesterday. This wasn't post Gloria Steinem. And it wasn't even in the western part of the world, which makes more sense because Africa's got a lot of female warriors, but I'm not going to get on that right now. My point is this. She thought she had a right to, so she did, and she did it for the benefit of others. She fought. So this stool was I want to say relic, but that's not the right word. It was a treasure for her people, and there were others who came and tried to take it. And she fought to, I believe it was to recapture, if I recall correctly, but definitely to defend it. Because she was like, this is my treasure. You don't get to have this. And she thought highly enough of herself to do that. And that is the first part of what you are being called to do. Think highly enough of yourself in order that you may help others defend that which is inherently theirs. That is the message that I have for you today. Level up. Let yourself level up. We oftentimes do this work to help us raise our vibrations. We might, I've told you guys before about Vibration Elevation, which is a channel here on YouTube. This woman named Robin does really good energy clearings. There's Empowered Crystals, which is a great Reiki channel here on YouTube. Definitely anytime you guys are doing, listening to the tarot reading. So we'll do these things. We'll get these messages. We'll receive the healings. But the key, you guys, the key is putting it into practice, putting it into action over and over and over and over again. Because the first time it's going to be wonky. And that's why you have the fear. But you keep doing it until until it's muscle memory. Until it's second nature. And it's going to be your second nature because you're healing the first nature. Ooh, she said that. Okay. All right. One more thing I want to do before I go is I want to point this out to you. For those of you who resonated with God, I said it. Ugh. For those of you who felt alignment with this reading as a career reading, more so than a calling reading, this is clearly not a real dollar bill. But this is a tool that you can use for money rituals, okay? And particularly if you feel like you have some struggles or anything that's blocking your money, I'm going to give you one that was taught to me by a very good friend of mine, part of my now soul family here in Los Angeles. So this, let me tell you what this is. It's a gold foil $100 bill with Benjamin Franklin on it. And this can be purchased on Etsy as well as on Amazon. I'll put links to both in the description box here. But if you feel like there is something blocking your income, money that you're expecting to come from somewhere, as is often the case with people like me who are artists and contractors, or maybe you work a traditional job and you've been stuck at the same salary for so long, or maybe you've been unemployed for a long time. Listen, this is not expensive. Okay, so don't be like, Shon, I ain't got no money. I can't buy that gold foil bill. This is like $3, I think. Okay. And I have had really effective results with this. Let me make sure I say that to you. I've had very effective results with this. The first time I used it, within a week, I got a movie and I got a part-time job within my field, as in the entertainment industry, that helped me to have free self-taping services for my auditions. I mean, it was just like bam, bam, bam. Oh, and I got a voiceover job all within a week. Okay. So here's one of the rituals that you can do with these are selenite wands. It doesn't have to be a wand. Any clearing crystal or stone that you have, what you want to do is you want to bless your Benny Frank. My friend calls it Benny Frank. If you happen to be watching this, Jerome, yes, I'm talking about you. Bless your Benny Frank. Clear the energy around money for you. If you would also like some words to go with it, a little chant that I like to use is money, 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 flow to me. Money, 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 flow nice, flow free. Money, 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 flow to me. Big money, 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 money. So when you say it with rhythm like you really mean it, it's like money, 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 flow to me. Money, 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 flow nice, flow free. Money, 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 flow to me. Big money, 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 money. Okay? I just came up with it one day and I use it. But use whatever words work for you. Okay? But getting back to the selenite and the Benny Frank. So you're going to clean the energy around this. What I like to do is I like to do it at night and I lay it down in its special place that I have for it, and I put my selenite on top of it also, just so that whatever energies happened around money for me on that day get cleared. For instance, sometimes we'll get like a big unexpected expense, and then that makes our energy around money be tight. If you happen to be somebody who you were taught to be worried about money, because see, that's what I was taught, that money was scary, and I was taught to be that you have to worry about money. Do you know that you can have no money and not be worried? Did you know that that's a possibility? It absolutely is. So if you're one of those people that's got any kind of a harmful energy around money, this particular ritual will be helpful for you, using the selenite to clear your Benny Frank before you go to bed each night, and just let it sit. What I do is I let it sit overnight, and then when I wake up in the morning, I take my selenite off, I put them away, and then I keep my Benny Frank near me while I'm working. Okay? And whether you believe in magic or not, that could just be a subconscious reminder for you that money is able to come to you. I will put a link also. I hope I remember to do all these dang links. I will put a link to the selenite, to a place where you can get selenite as well. But again, it doesn't have to be selenite. It could be any clearing crystal or stone. All right. Even like I'm burning my Palo Santo right now. I could even do it over the flame of the Palo Santo. Anything that clears energy will work. All right, you guys, now we're at 40 minutes, so I am going to wrap this up. I want to remind you, head on over to Other Side Tarot to get your messages from Cheryl. Actually, she's going to be giving you messages from the element of water about your love life. Thank you so much for being here. And if you find yourself in the need of a personal reading or want more details around your career or calling, I have 2 readings available for you on my Etsy shop and my website that would help you with that. One is called the Career Advancement Reading, and I will put a thumbnail right now. And then, I hope. And then the other one is, and this is one of my favorite ones to give, the Life Path Destiny Reading. And the thumbnail for that is going to go right here, I hope. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in my next one. Bye. Hi, Group 2. Welcome to your reading. So, in case you skipped the intro, I want to just start off by reminding everyone that today's video is a collaboration with Other Side Tarot. Here in this space, we are going to receive messages from the Earth Goddess Gangang Sera. That's the goddess that you guys picked if you did watch the intro. Earth Goddess messages is what we're doing overall this video, right? And so you're getting your messages from Gangang Sera about your career or calling. And over at Cheryl's channel, Other Side Tarot, she is going to bring you messages from the element of water about your love life. So as soon as we get done over here, be sure to head over to her space. I'll put a link in the description box of my video here so that you can get your messages about both these very important parts of your life. Now, if you are new here, welcome. If you have been to my channel several times before, you know I don't typically use this many decks in a reading, but we're doing this today because we are going to ask several questions, and we're going to get answers to those questions from each of these decks, okay? So starting off with the astrology reading cards, the first question that we are going to pull on for you guys is what area your ideal career or actual calling is in. So you guys got Pisces. And it says here with Pisces, the energy is wistful, endlessly loving, compassionate, and forgiving. It confuses and softens resolve. Let me get that nice and close so you can see that. Okay. And then the next question that we're going to have answered today, you guys, we're going to pull from the Higher Self Oracle, which is one of my favorite oracle decks to work with. And we're going to find out what your higher self hopes to gain or feel from your career or calling. You know, sometimes we get so used to seeking guidance from the higher self that we start to think of it as being separate from us, right? But our higher self is actually us. It's still you, right? And when we talk about career or calling, especially calling, there's oftentimes this thought that it's got to be about the other person, what benefit we're bringing to other people. And while that is very much a part of the experience, it's also about you and your life, and your higher self has a desire for you within this calling. So, oh, okay. Did y'all see that? This guy really wants to come out. You got listen. You got listen. your higher self wants you to experience in some way something having to do with the keyword listen. All right, now we're going to use the believe in your own magic oracle, and we're going to find out what shadow work or blockages, what shadow work you might need to do, or what blockages you might have that may be hindering you in this area of your life. Oh, yes, right here. Okay, so we have stars. You can manifest your every wish. I love this deck. I love all of these decks. I mean, I wouldn't use them if I didn't, right? Okay, now we've got, oh, y'all saw that, right? You saw that? So clearly, this is the card we're going to be reading or interpreting today to find out the energy you're being called to bring into the endeavor right now. Look at this. It says, believe in the impossible. Blue moon. Now, this is a deck I know that a bunch of you guys have seen used before on in other people's videos, other tarot readers' videos here on YouTube. It's a very popular deck and has been long before I started doing tarot online. And so you've probably gotten this card before, but I just want to point out to you the fact that it says believe in the impossible, and it says blue moon. And the reason why these are linked to each other, if I recall correctly, is because the blue moon, when we get that which is considered a blue moon, it is very rare. I believe it has something to do with when there is a fifth full moon in some cycle. Oh God, don't quote me on that. Y'all know I say it all the time. If you're familiar with my channel, I say it all the time. I'm not an astrologer. I just report back what I've heard from other people. But it has something to do with the number of full moons, or maybe it's the 13th. Like there should be one per month within a year, which would make 12, but then there's a 13th one. I don't know. I feel like there's something. If you know, let me know in the comments, especially if you happen to be, listen, I'm about to say, especially if you happen to be an astrologer, but you know, go gently with me because science is not my thing. So explain it to me as though I'm a 5-year-old. But yeah, if you happen to know what in particular makes a blue moon, other than anything having to do with what it looks like, but like why we have that association with it, let me know. But I do know it has something to do with it being rare for us to get one. Or it's rare when it appears. It's a special, it's a very special situation. And that's why that has been connected with believe in the impossible here. So that's what we've got so far for you guys. We've got Pisces energy, the word listen. You got stars from a deck that really doesn't have, it's not about anything celestial or anything from the sky. And then attached to that is you can manifest your every wish. And then we also have here, believe in the impossible. There's a theme that is starting to, a theme that is starting to unfold already. So, for our tarot, we are pulling for more clarification and specific details about the career or calling, so that you don't just leave this reading with a vague sense of what you might be called to do or what the ideal career for you might be, but that you get specific. So our first card that we've gotten from the tarot, we're using the This Might Hurt Tarot deck by Isabella Rothman, is the Four of Pentacles. Okay. What are some more details, some more clarification that we can give group 2 around their career or calling? We have the Star. You guys, there's a recurring theme here, especially with these two, right? Four of Pentacles and the Star. Oh, all right. I try to put them back in, but these two are like, no, we're coming out. So we're taking them in our third position here. We've got Queen of Swords. Very, 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 very interesting. Along with Three of Wands in reverse. Sorry, no, yeah, Three of Wands in reverse. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Let me scoot these over just to make a little bit more room because we're going to grab one more tarot card to go with this portion of your reading. Details and clarify. Oh, thank you. And we have 10 of Wands in the upright. Pentacles, Major Arcana, Queen of Swords, Three of Wands, 10 of Wands for clarification. And then finally, you guys, we are going to choose from the Goddesses Among Us Oracle to see if there are any other goddesses who want to weigh in on your career or your calling. And for some of you, it could be that your career and your calling are one and the same. I feel that way about myself. Any messages that any other goddesses might want to add along with what we have picked up from so far already from Gangang Sarah and our higher selves. What other messages, or are there any other goddesses who want to come through with, I see you, thank you. You have Sophia. Oh, and we have the number 17 again. We have the number 17 that shows up twice. So that, you know, that number might have significance for some of you. I just got something around year 17. Some of you may have been doing what you are doing for the past 17 years. It might be like your 17th anniversary in that field. And for others of you, it could be that something specifically big is going to happen for you in the 17th year of your working in this area. You might not have hit that 17th anniversary yet. But yeah, that just kind of came to me when I happened to notice that 17 shows up twice here. And so Sophia's got some keywords on her oracle card, and those are divine light, gnosis, and Holy Spirit. So we have, you know, the first thing that is very, very obvious with the cards that have come up in your reading is there is just a very strong celestial energy, a very strong, like having to do with the sky, having to do with that which is elevated. There's this energy of looking up, very much an energy of looking up. And we actually see this in these two cards. You know, this young lady here is looking up. And the listen card here from the higher self oracle is also that person is looking up. Other gazes that we have are so direct, right? I didn't mean to point here. The Four of Pentacles, he's direct, yo. There's something there, right? It's like he's trying to force you to see what he sees. And we have the Queen of Swords, this depiction of Queen of Swords from Isabella Rothman's deck. Queen of Swords is always direct though, right? It's just that like in the RWS and several of the other decks that I have, we see her at a profile. It's like we're looking at the side of her face. So even though her gaze is direct, we're not seeing her en face, as we call it in ballet. We're not seeing her from the front of her face. But here, this is a very direct gaze, very direct gaze, very direct gaze. And two of these are quite confrontational. Sophia's energy, while she might be connected to divine light, and the Holy Spirit is actually one of her key words, you know, there's a confrontational gaze there. And I'm not just saying that because she's a black woman. I'm not buying into the whole angry black woman stereotype. Y'all know I'm not. but I just like that just came to me just now. I heard it. So I was like, let me make sure I clarify that for people, particularly for anybody who's new to the channel today. Hey, y'all, this is Shon. This is how I roll. If I think it, I say it. That's just the way I am. But yeah, lots of confrontational energy, definitely direct energy in these three altogether. While we have the opposite happening here with the Three of Wands and that gaze not being, first of all, it's in reverse, right? And so like, let's say it was upright. She's looking, but we don't see her face at all. So we do not have directness here. And this is in reverse. And we cannot forget the fact that our main messages are coming from Gangang Sarah. And Gangang Sarah's keyword on her card is resistance. And though we don't often, it's not like if you were to take a standardized test, like in school or something, and you were presented with a list of words, and you were supposed to find the opposite or indicate the opposite of a specific word, right? Resistance. Say that's the word that you were given, resistance, and then you're given a list of words to choose that might be pick the one that's the opposite of resistance. The word direct is probably not one of the words that would be given to you as an option. And yet I feel very strongly, and in particular with what's going on with your reading here, that we are being guided to see resistance as the opposite of directness. There might be operating inside of you right now a resistance that is keeping you from being truthful with yourself. And truthfulness is called for not just in your dealings with yourself, but specifically in the career or calling that you are best suited for. It is quite obvious that there is such a magical energy that's coming through in the cards that you received, the majority of the cards that you received. And, you know, I tend to use the word spiritual. I tend to use the word magical where others might use the word spiritual, because I do feel that they're connected. You know, some people will refer to expecting a miracle while others talk about doing magic. It's the same concept, I think. The same thing. And you guys are very magical people. You are very creative people. You are very connected people. You are very divinely touched, divinely led. And let that word mean for you what it means for you. So for you, divine might refer to a god or goddess, or it might refer to angels. It could refer strictly to your higher self. However that word aligns for you, you have it. So there are some people who are just not energetically aware at all. You're not those people. You guys are very energetically aware. And this is part of what makes you so magical. Your calling is spiritual in nature. And it is this: you are called to help others through the spiritual awakening that we are seeing happening in so many people all over the world. For some of you, this might present itself or might manifest as you actually becoming really well known for the kind of work that you do in the spiritual arena. For some of you, your impact is going to be more local. It might be just in your city. It might not even go so far as your city and just be like in your church, in your neighborhood, in your school. But there is definitely a message here around you and your nature being so connected to the spiritual, so connected to the magical. And because you are built the way you are built, because of this connection to higher energies that you have access to, you do have the ability to manifest your every wish. Some of you might identify as intercessors or prayer warriors for others. You might be that person that your friends or your family come to you and ask you to pray on their behalf because they know that your prayers get results. You could be someone who is always, you've got the right word for people, whether it's in their time of need or even in their time of triumph. This is one of the spiritual gifts that I have. I have the ability to say things in a way that it really hits home for people. I hear and see their truth. We have a viewer, or I have a viewer, I should say, of my channel who recently referred to my readings as Queen of Swords readings. And I didn't get what she was saying at first. But then I did, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And it's because of this ability that I have to say a thing, to as I stumble over my words right now, I'll talk about irony, right? But to see and say the truth is how I typically put it. And some of you guys who got this message today, or who came to this message today, you have that ability. Okay. There are many different spiritual gifts out there in the world. And those of you who are drawn to this reading, you have several of them. A lot of people are looking for their one spiritual gift. You have many spiritual gifts. You have at minimum 3. And for some of you, the spiritual gift might actually be psychic ability, which I feel is very close to what Christians prefer to call discernment, particularly those who are uncomfortable with the concept of psychic ability, mediumship, divination, any of that stuff. Same thing, different label. Anyway. So your calling is to be a spiritual teacher or a spiritual guide. Some of you may have been thinking about starting your own YouTube channels. Listen, here's an energy check for you right now. If you are one of the people who listens to tarot readings all day long, not because you're just waiting to get the answer you want to hear about the guy who hasn't called you yet, no, but that you just really love hearing the readings. You get nuggets of truth from them. You feel comforted by them. God, I almost said it. You you feel like if you and that reader met in real life, you would have rapport with one another because they just resonate for you. If you are one of those people, you are definitely being encouraged to let yourself explore that more. The message coming through from Gangang Sarah in particular is around your resistance. It is an internal resistance because of denying that you have magic. There is a part of you that is uncomfortable with the idea of yourself as magical. It could, again, as I said earlier, be steeped in what you were raised to think about magic, or what you've been told around the word magic, or anything that doesn't have the Christian label on it or the religious label on it. So those resistances you have may not even be your own. They may be conditioning that you've received. For others of you, it's just that you've never been encouraged or empowered to see yourself as someone who is special, but you are. If you were if you were drawn to this group today and chose it, you are special. That is definitely the truth. You are special. And I know we're supposed to say in 2023, everybody's special. Okay, right. But I'm talking about you right now. And I'm talking about you being magically special. I'm talking about you being special at the level of you can do things that other people can't do. You might be one of those people who you carry the burdens of others and it does not weigh you down. Now, I want to be really careful with saying that because there are some of us who develop the tendency of carrying others' burdens because we were made to do so in our dysfunctional families of origin. If you identify as a scapegoat in your family, or the worker, the fixer in your family, that, is the case. So, and you might not even identify with any of those, but have found that you might do too much at work. Other people have left and they're off at happy hour and you're picking up their slack, right? So if that is you, this part is not for you. What we're talking about here is, again, a spiritual gift of being able to shoulder burdens with people, not for them, but with them. This is very close to the idea of being someone who is a prayer warrior or does intercessory prayer on the behalf of others. There are a couple of spiritual gifts tests out there online. I feel very much like I need to say to you, if you don't know what your specific spiritual gifts are, find one of those tests, take it. And they typically, if I recall correctly, because I haven't done mine in over 20 years, show you the level of that gift. Now, the thing too to be mindful of, though, when you take these tests or when you look for the one to take, some of them are very heavily Christian influenced. So if that is not an energy that you connect with, or a religious system that you are part of, then that's not the spiritual gifts test that you want to take. There are others out there that don't have that. So just be mindful of that before you start the test. Just look and see what, a lot of them will have a description of what the different spiritual gifts could be. And that will give you an indication. But anyway, so if you don't know what your spiritual gifts are, find a test, take the test, and the ones where you score the highest, the three where you score the highest, that is very indicative for you right now. But you might have even more than three. Others of you might already know what your spiritual gifts are, particularly those of you who watch my readings who are tarot readers yourself. I have several tarot readers who I am very grateful, or not just viewers of the channel, but have been very supportive of me. Shon, not just Shon the reader, but very supportive of me as a person. And I thank you all for that. Very, very, very much. Very, 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 very grateful to have found this community. But you might already know, whether you're a tarot reader or not, you may already know what your spiritual gifts are. Your guidance here is to lean into those more. For you guys, this is definitely a calling reading, though for some of you, the calling and the career are one and the same. Okay? You are being encouraged to know that listening is definitely part of the work you are on this earth to do. Listening to others, not only because it will help you help them, not only so that you can help them, but also that there is going to be constant growth for you in your life, in your life experience. It's going to be growth after growth after growth. The more you listen, the more you will expand. The stronger your powers become, the stronger your abilities are. Whatever the gift is that you have, it is for you to use in the service of others, but it is also ultimately going to be in service to yourself. What you are going to know is it's not only about the calling. The calling is not about, okay, I want to say this gently. Because y'all know I'm if you are familiar with the channel and my content, you know that I'm very much about self-empowerment. And I very much believe that our answers do come from within. And this is true for us as individuals and how we live our lives. And I will hold on to that belief till the day I die, and I will preach it until I die. But I'm getting that for you guys with this calling. There is a distinction between that which is of you and that which is being given to you to share with others. That it's not about your vision, but it's about what you are being. Discernment. I'm getting discernment is a very strong spiritual gift for a lot of you, the majority of you who picked this pile. But you are being told that while you have very strong discernment, which serves you well when it comes to, for instance, deciding whether or not to take out a loan to buy a house in a specific neighborhood or anything like that, in the case of this calling of yours, which for some of you is also a career, it is not about your vision. You are to bring in to the awareness of others insights, messages, teachings, growth that comes from a source higher than yourself, that is not manufactured in your brain, in your wisdom, in your thinking. There are gods and goddesses of wisdom. There are angels in particular that are connected with wisdom. Let yourself develop and grow the relationships with them even more. Particularly when it comes to deciding how you are to use these spiritual gifts you have. But you are quite magical in your nature. You are quite magical in your nature. And part of the gift for you, and one of your greatest spiritual gifts is, so not only do those of you who are here have discernment, you also have the gift of belief. A lot of times we forget to remember that the ability to believe is a gift. One of the reasons why I am such a strong actor in my the way in which I make the most money. It's not even a lot, but anyway, in the way in which I choose to make my income, I should say, that's probably I should say it, is because of my ability to believe. My ability to believe is so strong, and that can be a blessing or a curse, right? Because when it's very easy for you to believe, that means that you can very easily believe those who are deliberately misleading you. And I know I'm not the only one here who has had that experience. If you identify with that, type, that's me in the comments. That you've had your gullible era, type, that's me. And anybody who was not part of this group won't know what you're talking about. So don't worry about outing yourself as having been gullible, taken advantage of, led astray. And know that you are in good company. That's me. That's me. You know? But you guys have a very strong ability to believe. And because your ability to believe is so strong, you are able to help others when they have crises of faith, or when they need help just believing in themselves or believing in something they want to do. Very supportive energy around you. Endlessly loving, compassionate, and forgiving, it says here. But it also says, and this is very important, it confuses and softens resolve. You guys are changers. The resistance that gets brought up in Gangang Sera, or from Gangang Sera for you, is not just about your inner resistance, your resistance to your own magic, your own specialness, your own power, but also the resistance that is out there. Let me say that better. Give me a second. A big part of the calling for some of you, I'm getting, is that you show up when change is needed. And those things or people that need the change do not always welcome it. But you come to help with that change. Sometimes your job, for some of you, I should say, for some of you, the job is to enlighten them to the change that needs to be made. I'm one of those kinds of people. For some of you, it's to help them with getting the change to happen, like an alchemizer, like you're an alchemizer. Some of you are alchemizers of energy. Definitely the calling is spiritual. Definitely it is supportive. It confuses because it takes people out of their comfort zone. It softens resolve because you have a gift for being able to help them push through their resistance. You have the ability to instill hope. You listen, you instill hope. Not just because, let me say this better. How do I say it? It's not just, give me a second. When people are around you, they sense how special you are, particularly as you start to grow in this that we're talking about today, and it starts to magnify. E equals MC squared comes from Albert Einstein, and the gist of it is the more energy you put into something, the more of that thing you have. So the more you guys start to focus on, commit to, learn about your spiritual gifts, the more powerful you're going to be within them. So you may already find that people love being in your presence. You may already find that people find you to be magical. And listen, sometimes that actually manifests itself as the opposite, that you are such a magical person that it makes some people uncomfortable and they don't want to be in your presence because of their own insecurities, their own jealousies, or just they're doing wrong. And some part of them assumes you see it, and you do. You actually see it, even if you don't say it out loud to them. Okay? So people, they sense what's inside of you, even if you don't yet. You are impressive. You are much. You are much. And that much is good. Some of you may have had that said to you as though it was a bad thing. It's not. It's good. You are much because you are here to have impact. And the impact is not just on yourself or the world around you, but on individuals specifically. And one of the impacts that you will have is you will help other people connect to their own magic, their own spiritual gifts, their own power. Personal power for those of you who don't like the woo-woo talk. And so in being around you and being exposed to you, they will not only see you continuously be able to manifest your every wish and believe in the impossible, but they will also begin to have that for themselves. They will hear it from you directly in some cases, but for some of them, they will just learn it from you by osmosis, just by watching. You are here to be an example. Some of you are here to be an example. Some of you it's teacher, some of you it's example. All of you, you're agents of change. All of you, you are here now because of the spiritual awakening that is happening on our planet right now. Some of you are connected beyond this planet of the earth, and your energy extends far beyond the earth. And some of what is you and some of what you do is affecting outer realms. You guys are amazing. You are a lot. You are the connection for some people the connection of earth and that which is not of the earth, like a intermediary or a go-between, a connector. I'm definitely getting connector. So of course some of you are channels. I mean, again, I already talked about the tarot readers, so, but for those who don't know, that those are oftentimes always connected. Some of you may find that you very, very easily manifest money. And some of you find that you have a very, very hard time getting your hands on the money that you need. But none of you just have a, yes, it's all going just fine financially. It's just the normal, steady financial life. No, some of y'all are great with money, and then some of y'all really struggle with money. So your calling is spiritual in nature. You are here for the spiritual awakening and the specifics of work that you are here to do. For the majority of you who got this reading today, it is to be a spiritual guide, like what tarot readers do, or a spiritual teacher, like what someone like, for instance, a Christina Lopes does. And for those of you who, some of you, all of you, it's a calling. Some of you are being encouraged to monetize it. Let yourself earn from it, because what you have is of great value and it's needed. Okay? One of the things that I want to do for you guys before we wrap up, and listen, and I mentioned those two particular kinds of spiritual work. There are others, but you're definitely called to work in the spiritual space, whether you choose to charge money for it or not. Some of you might actually feel like you are to be a spiritual leader. I want to be careful of saying anything like that, because I don't want to encourage anybody to start a cult, but hopefully the people who are drawn to my reading, don't start a cult. But those are three specifics for you: spiritual teacher, spiritual guide, spiritual leader. I definitely have some very strong Sunday school teacher energy coming through. From the top of the reading, actually, I had something around working with little children. So for some of you guys, what's it called? Sunday school teacher, is there. So, it's very funny. For those of you who are new to me right now, you're like, ooh, she must be Christian. Listen, this is the first time so much stuff around Christianity has ever come up in any of my readings. And maybe it's because this is about spirituality, and because of having grown up, as a lot of people in the States have, in a Christian environment, I have an awareness of that side of things. But this is not a religious reading, and this is very important for you to know. And I don't do religious content, and I am not usually bandying the C word about. Oh, I probably shouldn't say the C word, because that's usually used for that other C word that the Brits like to use a lot. But no, I don't tend to evoke Christ's name a lot, or Christianity ever, actually. But, some of you who got this reading, even though you are watching a tarot card reading, you might still identify as Christian. And so those messages came through for you today. And then some of you, because of what we talked about in terms of finding your spiritual gifts, I did need to clarify for you that it doesn't have to be connected to Christianity in particular. Okay, so here we have something that I want to share with you guys. For those of you, particularly those of you who identify with what I said about money sometimes being a bit of a struggle for you, or if you are a person who was actually intrigued by the idea of wanting to possibly leave work you're already doing and commit to doing spiritual work or having a spiritual business, but having some kind of resistance around charging. This is a gold foil $100 bill, so it's clearly not real money, but it is a tool one can use to help with the manifestation of security in your finances. So that security can be about stabilizing your actual financial inflow, or it could be about just shifting some of your mindsets around money. So I'm going to give you guys 2 things to help you with that, should you choose to work on this area of your life using some sort of a ritual or tool like this one. So this, I use this one to help with money blockages when I feel that they happen. And, you know, with my being a professional artist, they of course they happen. And sometimes it is in our ability, our direct ability to shift the energy around the money. Sometimes it's seasonal. Like if you do a kind of work that's seasonal, you might see a slowdown in income coming in because of the work that you're doing. This also happens to certain types of artists, right? Certain times of year are more active in what I do for a living than other times of year. And so understandably, sometimes there's more money coming in than others. But this is available for you to purchase if you want it on Amazon or on Etsy. I will put links to both in the description box. And what I like to do is I take my gold foil Benjamin Franklin here, and I take my pieces of selenite crystal. I have 2 selenite wands. You can use selenite that's shaped in any way you want, or any other clearing crystal or stone, or even like this is my Palo Santo, which is it clears negative energy. So if you don't want to work with crystals, you don't have to. You can work with you can use a sage smudge or any other kind of clearing smudge. Dragon's oil in a diffuser is great for clearing energies. Anything, however you want to clear the energy. But what I do is I take this in the evenings, and I, particularly on days when I feel like there have been things that are, you know, harsh when it comes to the money. Like I had an unexpected huge expense, which might have wiped out my bank account, or, because that's a thing that happens. Well, like not to zero, but you get what I'm saying. Like clears out some of my money. Or it's been a very long time since I've had some work come in, or an Etsy order or something like that. And I just need to, like, you know, just clear the energy around money. You can take it and you can just energetically just kind of brush it. Selenite is great for that period. It doesn't just have to be around money. It's clearing the energy. It's a clearing crystal. And then what I do in the evenings is, after I've cleared it, I put my 2 pieces of selenite on my Benny Frank. Like ideally, I would love to be able to have both sides of him, you know, but see, that happens. I would love to see. So I put them both right on top, and they sit overnight and just clear the energy around money for me. And on occasion, I also sometimes use a little chant that I made up that I want to share with you today, so that if you would like to use it to help you with your money situation, you can. You can also use this chant if you work with bay leaves for attracting financial prosperity, or you can just use it on your own without using another tool at all, okay? So it goes, money, 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 flow to me. Money, 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 flow nice, flow free. Money, 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 flow to me. Big money, 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 money. So if you say it with all the intention of getting the money in positive ways, right? And as much money as you can handle. I like to say it like this. Money, 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 flow to me. Money, 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 flow nice, flow free. Money, 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 flow to me. Big money, 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 money. Now, do I always say it with that kind of like inflection in my voice, like I'm a real rapper and stuff? No, of course not. But, you know, since I'm sharing it with you guys, I put a little bit of a little something on it. All right, you guys. So yes, I will put links in the description box to where you can get one of these foil dollar bills, $100 bills, if you would like one. They start at only like $3. So they're very, very cheap. And then, or I should say inexpensive. Ooh, change that wording, Miss Wilson. And then I will also put links to where you can grab yourself some selenite if you don't already have it. These are the messages that I have for you today. I hope they prove to be helpful to you. And if you find yourself in the need of a personal reading and want more details around your career or calling, I have 2 readings available for you on my Etsy shop and my website that would help you with that. One is called the Career Advancement Reading, and the other one is, and this is one of my favorite ones to give, the Life Path Destiny Reading. Thank you guys so much for being here and for sticking with me, because this was a longer reading than the ones I typically do. But again, there was a lot here. We answered a lot of questions. We covered a lot of stuff. And it is very important for you to know how magical you are. See, some of you might be like, Shon, this was supposed to be the shadow work card or the blockage card. But you got to listen between the lines, because I covered that. Some of you don't understand or want to believe or haven't been told just how magical you are. Work on that and bring your belief into this endeavor. You are needed, so get on it. All right. Now that we're done here, head on over to share. Oh, well, first of all, if you were drawn to other piles here in my video, watch those readings too. Okay. But once you're finished with Miss Wilson, head on over to Other Side Tarot and let Cheryl give you your messages from the element of water about your love life. I bet it's going to be great. Bye, guys. Hello, group 3. Welcome to your reading. Where did I get this from? Who does that? I feel like one of the readers that I like to listen to here on YouTube does this. Anyway, hey guys, welcome to your reading. You were drawn into your messages for today by the goddess Maulisa, who is actually a god and goddess combined in one. In this card here, you can see that they have the keyword of cosmic power. And, one of the things that leads us to being in power is having balance. And so it doesn't surprise me at all that the goddess of Maulisa has both in one with that particular keyword. And by both, I mean the divine masculine and the divine feminine with that particular keyword. You also might have been drawn in by this beautiful, teeny but mighty smoky quartz. If you happen to miss the introduction today, I want to remind you or to let you know that this reading is actually a collaboration with Other Side Tarot. Over here on my side, we're going to be getting messages for you about your career or calling from this earth goddess. And on Cheryl's side of the reading, she is going to talk with you about, or rather, she's going to bring you messages from the element of water about your love life. So as soon as we get done here, be sure to go over there and find out about that other very important area of your life. So, as you can see, there are several decks here. If you are new to my channel, you may not know that I don't typically use this many decks when doing a social media reading. I do, however, use a ton of decks when I do my personal readings. But because today we are going to be asking some very specific questions, getting details on your career or calling, we are going to get those details. Each question is going to be answered by one of these 6 decks. So because there is a lot to cover today, let's jump right in. We are going to ask, the first thing that we're going to find out for you guys today is what area your career, your ideal career, or your actual calling is in. Look at that. Do you see that? You guys got 6th house, the 6th house. And here it says on the card, the work, health, and daily area of your life. So the work that you are called to do and most suited for, whether as your career or calling, has to do with this energy that we have associated with the 6th house. And then we're also going to find out what your higher self wants you to feel or experience as part of your career or calling. So let's see, what is the higher self hoping that you experience by participating in this field? You have overcome obstacles. And the reason why I chose to bring this question into the reading today is because so often we think of our career or calling being about others always, right? And there is something for you in that which you are called to do. There is a blessing for you as well, benefit to you as well. And we're going to find out more about that as we begin to interpret the cards in just a little bit. But overcome obstacles is what your higher self wants for you in this calling or career. Now we're going to be looking at the shadow work that you might need to do because of any blocks you might have in relation to this area. And we're using the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle for that. This one kind of like screamed at me. Tree, let them go. Next, we're going to use the Moonology deck to take a look at what energy you're being called on to bring into your career or calling at this time. As we go through different stages in the work that we do, different things are called for. And so right now, oh, wow, did you guys see that beautiful flip? Right now, you guys are being called to show the world the real you. That's part of the work you do. So, do you guys know Odessa Mall? Odessa Mall, Mystic Intuitive Healer. She is one of the 3 tarot readers that I interviewed for a recent series that I did here on the channel about life path and destiny. And she knows that my career has heretofore been as an actor. And she said she feels that I am going to be famous, but she says she feels that I'm going to be famous for being myself, being known for myself. This is something that's already coming up for you in your reading right now that is similar. It's not necessarily that you have to be famous. Some of you may be, some of you may not want that at all. But it's that a connection to the authenticity of you, who you really are, is very important in your career and calling. I'm getting a sense of a need for disclosures, for telling truths, for possibly speaking those things which are difficult for others to hear at times. Okay, so we see we already have one of our tarot cards that has come up. For the tarot deck, we are going to, with the tarot deck, I should say, we are looking at, we're getting some details and some clarification around what your specific job or what your specific calling would best be. So we have, I should have flipped this when I got it. We have 8 of Cups in reverse. We have the 2 of Cups. Let's see, who else do we have? We have the 4 of Wands. Yeah, you guys, I'm definitely getting a lot of energy here around connection. Connection seems to be really big in your reading right now. So far with the cards that we have. And we're going to just get one more of the tarot cards. Ooh, the Tower. Interesting to have it start with 8 of Cups in reverse, move on to 2 of Cups, 4 of Cups, and then end up at the Tower. Finally, we are going to use the Goddesses Among Us deck to see if there are any other goddesses who want to weigh in on your career and calling along with Lisa. And in case I didn't mention it, you guys, this is the This Might Hurt tarot deck. And these are the astrology reading cards. I don't think I mentioned that either. All right, let's find out for you. Are there any other goddesses that want to weigh in on your career or calling? Who are they and what would they like to say? Ooh, we have Morgan Le Fay. Witchcraft, divination, magic, power. Look at that. Isn't that card amazing? So one of the things that cannot be ignored that is clear is that both goddesses that you guys are getting your messages from, Lisa as well as Morgan Le Fay, have keywords, have power as one of the keywords. With Lisa, we have cosmic power. And with Morgan Le Fay, we have the word power itself, as well as other words that we associate with power, like magic, like witchcraft, like divination. I'm going to say to those of you who got this reading, there might be another pile in here for you. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. But there is quite probably another pile in this video for you. For those of you who were drawn to this pile, this is more of a calling message than it is a career message. Though as we talk about it in more detail, some things in regards to a career might come up, but primarily this is about calling. It is a very special calling. It is a calling that not most people get. It's one that not most people even have heard of. But you guys are changers. Let me say that better. You are the ones who have been selected in your family line to heal ancestral trauma, to right karmic debts, to help with generational trauma and by healing it. So not help with it, but healing generational trauma. You are the ones that change the trajectory of your family line going forward. A big part of this is your willingness to, and the thing that your higher self wants for you to overcome obstacles. And these obstacles are primarily internal. But it is in the fact that you are willing to also overcome external obstacles, which a lot of people aren't, right? That makes you so suited for dealing with that which is within. Your ability to exact change within yourself and therefore within your family line will make you seem to some like a sorceress. You might actually even use some of these modalities in the healing work that you do for yourself, which will therefore ultimately be healing work for your family. Because as you change, the family dynamic changes. There has been in your family line for a long time power imbalances, misuse of the word power. People have mistaken control for power. And some of the people within your family line who want to see themselves as powerful are actually the weakest people in the family. And you who have, on some cases, many cases, let me say that better, many times, oftentimes possibly been accused of or shamed for being weak, are actually the most powerful one in your family, the one with the most potential. This healing that you're going to do is going to lead you to being comfortable showing the real you without criticism, or without fear of criticism, I should say, because there are still some who will criticize. We cannot change what other people do or how they function, but what changes is who we are. In your future is mutual, happy love that is give and take on both sides. You probably have in your history and in your family's history these one-sided romances, somewhere is, and it's not even that it's like unrequited love where someone is just going after a person who's not interested, though that does tend to happen in cases. But it's more along the lines of, in the unions that you have seen that have been modeled for you, there's been an imbalance of giving and receiving, where one person is doing all of the giving and the other person is doing all of the receiving. And that imbalance is also part of what causes the imbalance in power in your family line. There are these imbalances that are within individuals in your family, which then leads them to connect with people to start and maintain relationships with that prolong is not the word, continue or magnify those imbalances. So the individual is imbalanced. They find someone who, because we attract or connect with people who mirror how we see ourselves. And so the imbalance within this individual then becomes the nature of the dynamic between the two people, who then, as they have children, continue this imbalance. The shadow work that you are being called to do includes letting go of such people. This is going to be very hard for many of you. Okay? Very, very hard for many of you. But one of the obstacles that you will overcome, and you will overcome this, is a fear of letting go. Look at this. I just realized this. Our shadow work card, has this tree on fire, and with the tower, I mean, it's so similar. It's not like they're not identical, but look how the like flames and the lightning are on this tower card. You know, there's a big, this tree is burning so that what was will no longer be. This tower is happening so that what was will no longer be. And that is in regards to the way family life was before. And a new understanding of what happy family means. So when I pull 4 cards like this, for those of you who have watched my readings before, you will often see me choose 4 tarot cards and then do your reading from there. And this card, if you see me pull it up like this, it's because the spread that I'm using, this is in the shadow position. And I bring it up, or I pull it up to remind me to interpret it as such. So while the 4 of Wands is often considered a celebratory card and is, soul family or connection or working with people, or I'm not saying it right because it's not really work. That's not the word I mean. Harmony between individuals and balance. With it being here in our shadow position, it means that that is not what you have had before. It is not the regular for you. It is not the norm. It has not been for your family line, that kind of happiness. But it is coming because of the shift and the amalgamization, if that's a word. It probably isn't, but you know the word, like when something is, when we I think it's amalgamize. Is that how you say it? Alchemize. When we alchemize something, okay, you are the alchemizer. You are the alchemizer for your family, and you are changing the family line. And what relationships in your family looked like before, there might have been a lot of divorce. I'm getting this for some of you, there's a lot of divorce in your family, a lot of divorce. This may look like specific individuals who have been married and divorced several times in their own right, or it may just look like a bunch of different individuals who can't stay married, don't stay married. Or it could be a combination of those things, but I'm getting very strong divorce energy. And that is ending with you. This is not to say that if you find yourself right now in a relationship that is unhealthy or harmful to you in any way, or where you are being unhealthy or harmful towards somebody else, that you need to stick with it so that divorce ends with you. No, because see, you created that already. I think it's Abraham Hicks who says, is it Abraham Hicks? I think it's her who says, what we see in front of us right now, that's the past. That's the past. That's not the future. That's not the present. So what you've already manifested, what you've already created in life, that is part of who you have been. And this reading is about who you are ideally meant to be. Your calling is to shift the energy, to heal generational trauma, to heal karmic wounds in your family, by the choices that you make for your own life starting today and moving forward. And you will be an example for those who come after you. If you have children, you will be an example to them. If you don't have children, but you have nieces and nephews, you will be an example to them. I have 2 nieces whom I love so much. They are the second greatest loves of my life. The first being Casper. Casper is my cat. The inspiration for the 30 days of cat spirit animal wisdom that we just did. And occasionally he did try to pick the cards. No lie. But the children that are around you, whether they are your own or they are children of other members of your family, or they're children that you just come in contact with. Some of you may be teachers as your career, and they will learn from you. You will be amazed how many teachers actually have a direct impact on the personal life of their students without even ever having been part of their personal life. I have 2 such teachers in my history, and I'm still in touch with them today. They have meant so much to me and changed who I was so that I could become who you now know. Now, we have to address the fact that the first card that you got, it says it's, because the question was what area your calling is in, or the ideal career for you. And, we have the work, health and duty area of your life. Y'all, come on, could it be clearer? I'm going to take them one by one, going backwards. The duty area of your life. Let's start with that. The way in which you have been defining duty, particularly when it comes to the family or the idea of family, that shifts now. What has been made your duty because of what others have told you was your responsibility, or ways in which they guilt you or shame you, is not your duty, is not your responsibility. A lot of times we stay stuck in things because we feel like we don't have the right to move beyond those things, that we would be abandoning people if we make certain changes. But remember, part of your work is to let them go. Excuse me. There's something in my throat. Let me just get a quick drink of water here. You have to let them go so you can show up as who you really are in all of your relationships, the family ones, other types of personal relationships, and even in your work relationships, how you interact with strangers on the street. The time for hiding is gone. I just got that. I just heard that. The time for hiding is gone. Some of you have had to hide who you really are to be able to sustain is not the word. Hold on. Survive the environments you've been in, particularly when it comes to family, the place where you should have been the most welcomed, the most loved and loved unconditionally, has been for many of you a danger zone. Now, not all of you have it that bad. Not all of you have it where it has been psychologically, emotionally, or physically abusive to you, but some of you do. I definitely am getting that, and this is part of why Morgan Le Fay came up for you. There's a message here for all of you, but for particularly for those of you who have found yourselves constantly in survival mode because of the kind of environment that you have had to live in. The darkness that developed from that is a part of you, and you can use that darkness for good. I know that sounds counterintuitive to some people, but what it really means is that dark is a label. Okay? And so the things that we get told are dark, we are often told are bad. But bad or good has to do with the outcome of how a thing is used, as well as much as it has to do with the intention behind it. And the things that have made you who you are today, you may not be that person that walks around bright, shiny, happy. But that does not make you bad. And you can use that which has been born in you from the experiences you've had to still do good for yourself, as well as for those who you come to meet and love. And anybody that you deem safe that's already in your life and feel that you love. But know this, there is power in you. And in addition to us having these two keywords that clearly say power, and these indications of power with divination, witchcraft, magic that are on Morgan Le Fay's card. You know, and I talked about the use of the depiction of fire and the lightning, fire in these two cards. But there's also this light emanating here off of the squid. I think that's a squid. Yeah. Not a what's it called? Not a octopus. That's definitely a squid. It's like magic is coming from this squid even. And then we have the light here too in the 6th house card. And see how it's emanating shiny. Oh, I forgot to keep going. Sorry, you guys. So we talked about the duty area of your life, right? Let me finish this thought on power, and then I'll come back to that in just a second. So the power that is emanating from these cards, so many of your cards are about power. The power comes from accepting and being your true self. And for some of you, you will have to find that person if that's what you choose to do. For some of you, there will be some excavating that needs to be done. You're going to have to dig in there and resurrect that person that got buried. That's something I had to do. Part of my healing. Oh, Lord. I had not been aware how much I had learned to not be my real self until I started to rediscover my true self. You know? The other keywords that you guys have here are health and the work, having to do with the area of your calling. So the health, we've talked about that. It's the internal health. It's the spiritual health, the psychic health. You are the one that is going to turn the tide so that love is synonymous with health in your family going forward, or in your soul's journey going forward. I just got that for some of you might be feeling a lot of pressure around the idea of having to be the one to do it in this lifetime. Know that for you, it could be that your soul is being called to do this on a grander level. But you are starting, so it lasts many lifetimes, or for all of you, whether you get it done now where you're alive right now, or your soul just continues the journey going forward, for all of you, it's going to extend beyond this lifetime. But you are bringing health into family. You are bringing health into love. And then the work. You have to do the work. And we talked about that. You have to do the work. If you choose to answer that which is your actual call. You were born for this. And a word of caution I'm being given to give to you is this. Don't think this means that you were made for or are meant to change anybody else. It's the changes that you are going to be able to exact in yourself that brings the shift for your family line. The change in you is sufficient. Focus on you. And for some of you guys, this is going to be a constant like, what? No, focus on me? No, I can't. Yes, you can. And you've got divine permission to do so. You've got the permission to do so. And as you connect with your authentic self, you will innately have more internal balance, which will allow you to create more balanced, loving relationships. And you will be in your own power more and be more powerful in how you go through life, meaning be able to actually exact change, actually make a difference, have impact. And also just be joyful, because that is also enough. Because when people see you in your joy, it has a profound effect on them. But balance is the key. As I often say, several of the people who watch my readings are tarot readers yourselves. So this next part that I'm about to say is not necessarily going to be news for you. But I am being told to tell the group as a whole to let yourself use some of these modalities to help you find out more about your authentic self. You may be a reader, but you don't read for yourself. I'm getting that's one of the obstacles for you to overcome. Let yourself read for yourself. Trust that you will get the message that you need to get. Sometimes when I read for myself, I pull the cards and the message is not as immediately clear as it is when I'm reading for someone else. And that's because we have our own stuff, right? So what I tend to do in those cases, it's not all the time, but when it does happen, is I just leave the cards out where they are. And then sometime throughout my day, maybe sometimes the next day, I then know what the message is. I also like to take a picture of the cards and keep them on my phone, even when I do know what the message means right away. And sometimes I'll even make that photo the wallpaper of my phone so that I see it and am reminded of it throughout the day. These are some things that you can do. If you are not already someone who reads tarot or does any sort of divination, magic, or witchcraft, you are being guided to let yourself tap into that in order to connect with or discover parts of yourself that you might feel are lost. I'm getting to tell you that your magic is part of what has been lost for some of you. You might have been called silly or ashamed, or maybe raised in a super traditionally religious background environment, which these things, no pun intended, I said witch when I'm about to talk about witchcraft. But anyway, something has disconnected you from your magic. And again, this is one of the obstacles for you to overcome. You see here in this photo or this painting, how she's got the markings, the etchings right in her third eye area. So I'm definitely getting that for you guys, tapping into your intuition more is called for. That is, believe it or not, people are more comfortable with the word intuition, but that is as much part of your magic as anything that you might do with crystals or tarot cards or oils or spells. Go ahead and start letting yourself rely on that intuition more. This is very important for those of you who have been in stressful home environments, because those stressful home environments have made you rely on your analytical brain a lot. And when we rely too heavily on our analytical brain, as most of you know, this keeps us from being able to get our messages that come to us intuitively or through our bodies. Yoga as a practice is a really good idea for some of you. For others of you, tending garden. It can be starting your own garden. Like one of my sisters has a garden in her backyard. I'm like, who are you? Who are you? Now, she is Catholic, so if I said anything about her being an earth witch, she might have some issues with that. I don't know. I've never tried it, but I do secretly think that she might be one. She just doesn't call it that, you know. And if you don't want to do a whole garden, get a plant, or have the habit of bringing a plant into your home. And don't just buy the flowers from the Trader Joe's, stick it in a vase, and just leave it on the kitchen table. No. You are being called to tend to it. This is going to help with the balance and the healing. There is something alchemical for you in working with plants. For others of you, there's something alchemical for you in doing the yoga. For all of us, really, truly, doing yoga is alchemical. All exercise really is, but yoga definitely has some perception changing effects, right? What we do with yoga is we balance the body. Ballet is also good for this. If you are somebody who loves ballet, who loves dance, but has been afraid to do it, you don't have to do it with the intention of becoming a professional ballet dancer. In fact, if you're listening to this reading right now and you're not already a professional ballet dancer, that ship has probably already sailed. But there are many places where you can go and take a class for fun. Let yourself do that. See, in ballet classes, we do everything from the right, or technically from the left. Well, okay, it depends if you're on bars or center, right? But anyway, we do things on the right side of our body, and then we do things on the left side of our body, and that keeps us balanced. In fact, I am of the belief, the very strong belief, that dancers are probably the most balanced of all artists because of that. But if you don't feel like ballet is your thing, do some yoga. If you can get into a class, I highly suggest it. This is going to put you in connection with other people who are on a similar path to you and help you start building those relationships that can help you change the trajectory of how you relate to others. You will be meeting other people who are attending to their self-care and their inner health as well. Because that's what yoga does, even if that's not the intention. When you start yoga, you might be intending to do it for physical benefit, but you always get the psychological and emotional benefit as well, because it brings balance. So if you can do it in a class, if you can afford to go to a class, definitely do that. If you cannot, there are some great channels here on YouTube that have regular yoga classes. Shop around until you find the teacher whose style works for you, whether you're doing it in person or you're doing it via YouTube. There are some people who have YouTube channels where they do the yoga, because I like to do yoga at home, and they just talk too damn much, and that's not what I'm there for. Not when it comes to yoga. The only thing I need to hear you say is inhale, exhale, and what position you want me to get in next. But I did first start my yoga practice in a class. I had a friend in Charlotte when I used to live in Charlotte, North Carolina, who was teaching. And so there is a great benefit to that because it helps you learn the positions in your body. Your teacher will adjust to you so that you get the maximum benefit from the positions that you're doing. But that's what I have for you here, you guys. You guys are the agents of change for your family. You are the sorcerers or witches per se who are going to change things for your family line going forward. Whether you actually see yourself as a witch or not, you have the kind of power, the shape-shifting power that we associate with magic. But you're doing that shape-shifting internally, which is going to change things not just for you, but for those who come after you. You might even be an inspiration, end up being an inspiration for some of your contemporaries, like your siblings. You can do it. And as I often am heard saying in my videos, I'm rooting for you. And I definitely say it after just about every single one of my personal readings, because the people who come to me for personal readings, I feel so deeply for them. These are people who have hope and who are willing to hear something new so they can do something new. I'm very lucky that way, that the people who seem to come to me are people who want the messages that come through so that they can start flowing through their life with more ease, more intention, more peace, more groundedness. So I am always rooting for them. Now, one thing that I want to tell you about is selenite crystal. Some of you probably already have selenite. But one of the things that's going to be very important for you as you do this work that you are being called to do is to be mindful of your energy. Be mindful of the energies you are carrying that may not be your own. Particularly if you consider yourself sensitive or an empath. They are not necessarily the same thing. Empaths are sensitive, but not all sensitive people are empaths. If you work in crowded environments or environments that are toxic in their nature, if you're constantly finding yourself in crowds, whether or not it's where you work, you are possibly picking up other people's energies all the time. If you are spending time with your family that causes you the distress, the family that is unhealthy, unsafe psychologically or emotional, you need energy clearing practices. I want to remind you guys, I said this many videos ago. I told you about a channel called Vibration Elevation. There's a woman in that whose channel that is, and she does energy clearings with wind chimes and bells, and I love how it sounds. There is a another channel that is great for energy clearing here on YouTube. I think her name is Irene Coco Queen, and yes, you heard that right. I think it's Irene Coco Queen. If it's not Irene Coco Queen, it's Coco Irene. No, it's that one. It's the first one. Okay, and she does sound healing with crystal singing bowls and again wind chimes. And I can't remember what the ones that are called that are like the big wooden ones. Goji, are they goji belt? No, gojis are berries. Koji? I don't know. Whatever. Tell me in the comments. And it's not just about telling me. Other people might want to know too. So put it, if you know the kind of bells that I'm talking about, they're like wind chimes, but they're big and wooden. Put that in the comments for me, please, so that people will know. But I like her channel because a lot of the sound healing channels, they just have one type of sound that they do. Like they just do crystal singing bowls, or they just do the Tibetan singing bowls. And so to me, all of the videos start to sound the same, right? So what I like about her is she uses different instruments in different ways in each of her videos. And I find that beneficial. Variety is good for me, but the energy clearing does definitely still come through either way. But getting back to the selenite, one way that you can clear your energy, and a way that I highly advocate, is getting yourself some selenite. They don't have to be selenite wands like what I have here. For instance, I also have this piece of selenite that I bought just because I like the shape. I already had selenite, but I wanted this one too. Okay. And what you can do to clear your energy, first of all, you want to make sure that this is charged. You don't have to clean selenite because it in and of itself is cleansing. But charge it when you get it by putting it underneath moonlight overnight. And then when you're ready, or when you feel you need to, you might do this once a day, you might do this several times a day, you might do it once a week, depending on what your needs are. You're going to use it sort of like a comb or a brush. Think of it like a comb or a brush. And you're going to use it to brush energies off of yourself. You might start at I can't show you. This is like the one time that I'm not on camera, right? Anyway, so imagine taking this and putting it over your head and just combing down your auric field. You're not putting it physically on your body, though, hey, it's your selenite, and if you want to, you can. But what we're really doing is we're cleaning the energy around us. We're cleansing ourselves from harmful energies. I'm reading a book right now called, oh goodness, what's that book called? Let me pause this for 1 second to find the name of that book. It's called The Witch's Shield, and it's about protecting yourself from psychic attack, as well as energy clearing. It's about psychic self-defense, which we all need, whether we consider ourselves witches or psychic or not. And in this book, the author has a whole section where he talks about not liking to use the term negative energies, because negative doesn't mean bad. We've just come to think of the word negative to mean bad. So he prefers to use the term harmful energies, and I want to start using that myself. But so you can use your selenite to comb through your auric field and remove harmful energies that you might have picked up throughout your day. Some of you might have heard me say recently in one of the cat spirit animal wisdom videos that I've developed the habit of showering in the morning as well as at night, so that I start my day having washed off negative energies. And I've always been a night showerer because I don't want to get my bed funky. Not judging nobody else, but that ain't for me. So if you're interested in getting any selenite, I am going to put some links in the description box of this video for you to make it easy for you to find where to purchase them if you don't already have some of your own. Okay, these are the messages I have for you today, you guys. Thank you so much for being here and for sticking with me for this whole reading, because we did cover a lot, so it's longer than my readings typically are. But what has been brought up here is so important for you. This is you. This is your calling. You are made for this and you can handle it. If you would like any help around the idea of your calling, fleshing out what you have learned today about your calling, or if you would like a career reading, I offer both of those on my Etsy shop and on my website. So, and my favorite type of reading to give is the Life Path Destiny reading. So if you are in need of one of those, please feel free to contact me. Ooh, I rhymed. Feel free to contact me and let me help you get on and stay on, because the staying on is the hard part for a lot of us. Staying on our path, because it's not easy. Hence the obstacles. Whenever you set out to do something new or something great, obstacles will come up. But you are able to handle this. You've got the power. I'm sure that was jarring to many of you. I'm not a soprano, okay? I can't sing that high. But you've got the power. Own it. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. Remember, head on over to Other Side Tarot, where Cheryl is going to give you your messages from the element of water about your love life. Oh, and that is such a good complimentary reading for those of you who picked this pile here today. What? Also, remember I said there is another pile here that is for you guys. I know it for a fact that every single one of you that chose this pile, there's also another pile here in my video for you. So, I'm not going to say, hey, go over to such and such a pile. But if you felt drawn to more than one at the intro, that's because there is another message here for you today. All right, you guys, take care. And I will see you in my next one.